And welcome back, guys. This is the I Don't Mo Show. I'm Nathan J.
I'm Charlie P.
And what's going on, guys? It's been a minute. As usual, we like to take our sweet butt time around here, and we got a good show for you guys. What's up today, Charlie? What are we doing? What are we talking about?
We're talking about all kinds of things. Talking about movies. You know, we got a little science. We got a little video game news. We got a little bit of everything today.
We do have a little bit of everything. Actually, it's kind of a jam-packed show, and we're going to try to get it in here in about an hour because we're going to try to catch the Cardinals game that's coming on 6:45.
We're going to try to catch it.
And we're going to try to catch it. I mean, we're going to catch it, but we might be, getting a little late, but no big deal. Well, it's good to be back, guys. Like I said, I'm Nathan J. To my left is Charlie P. And we're going to start off today with we got the Pet Semetary movie review. We saw Pet Semetary in theater last night, and we've got some good and okay choice words about it. I mean, start off. I mean, I'll just say right off the bat what this movie is like good, not great. That's how I can.
Yeah, it's just good. It starts off really just really dry. It's got a very dry beginning. Like, you overcook the turkey at Thanksgiving or something, you kind of just chomping through it, just trying to get to the good bits.
Pretty much.
And
Where's the gravy? Where's the gravy?
Once it hits a certain point, like, try not to spoil it, but once it hits, where, he uses the Pet Semetary for his nefarious reasonings,
right.
That's when it finally starts picking up, but that's about an hour-ish into the movie, probably.
True.
So, and the movie's only... It's what, an hour 40, I think is what we said.
Like a little
hour
over
40,
an
hour 50. Not even an hour 50. No. I don't think
it's pretty much. It's almost near as long as the original.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's almost as long.
And speaking of the original,
But
basically what it is
it's nowhere near as good.
It's nowhere near as good.
No way.
It doesn't have that. I can't. Cheesy is the wrong word, but it doesn't have that vibe.
It doesn't have
feel
enough
to it.
creepiness. to it.
Yeah, it was
It's
too
just,
serious.
It took itself very serious, and in certain parts, but in other parts, it took itself just not serious at all, and it just kind of went with whatever.
I think I had high hopes though on this movie, to be honest, because I was kind of expecting it to be like the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, I was hoping that, because I was like, man, this remake, I watched the trailer for Pet Semetary, it looked gritty, it looked nasty, just like Evil Dead remake, and that's my favorite horror movie, like, of all time, the remake, of course, but the originals are good. And I had really high hopes for this one, but I came out, about a 3 out of 5 is what I came out at.
That's where I got it. I was going to say the same thing. I have 3 out of 5 Mo's on this movie. And I mean, and that's what I said at the beginning. It's like, it's good, but it's not great. And it's just, like he said, like you said, it just takes a little bit too long.
Yeah, it takes too long to
get there. I mean, when you do, it's like the second half is the really good part.
Picks right up.
It's like the beginning's a 1, and the second half is like almost 4. You know what I'm saying?
Almost a 4. Yeah.
Like
I would rate the second half a 4.
Yeah, they did a really good job with
a lot of drama, a lot of family drama.
It took a long
stuff.
time, like you were saying, to explain the reasonings of what the hell the Pet Semetary really is.
And I don't think remakes should do that because it's a remake.
so
Everybody
either.
knows what's going on. Everybody knows going into this movie what it's about.
Right.
Just get into it.
I mean, but I do understand that lots of younger generation have probably seen clips and they're like, I don't want to see that movie.
True,
and then this one comes out and it's probably like, oh, okay, it's updated, a little more flashy. I didn't feel like a Pet Semetary movie to me at first. It didn't.
No,
it just felt like I don't know, a drama.
It felt like almost like if you took Insidious and just made it into a drama.
Yeah,
is what it felt like.
Yeah.
Or more of a suspense instead of a horror movie.
Right.
Is what it felt like.
Right.
A lot of cheap jump scares.
Right.
A lot of stuff like
and,
that.
And it's not even. I'm sure people are saying it was the pacing or something. It wasn't even the pacing.
No, the pacing was fine.
It was fine. It was
just so much dry material. Just like, okay, I get it. His wife, blah blah blah. The backstory with the wife and the sister and the. Okay, I get it. She's upset by it. Can we move on? And
exactly.
It's like, man,
it had a really good cast.
Yeah, the actors and actresses did amazing.
In which, I've watched some clips of the original last night, and I didn't spoil. It's just not spoilers, but I'm going to say spoilers anyway. If you haven't seen it, is like they just reversed what they did in the first movie with the boy and the girl being in the situations, and I didn't know that they had. It was the same in the original. I thought for some reason there was only one kid.
Oh, because my mom. I was telling my mom about it. She was like, "I'll never see it," but she saw the original, and I told her that spoilers. Turn it off right now. The little girl died, and she was like, "Oh, really? I thought it was a little boy or something like that." And I was like, "Well, there was a little boy, and apparently in the original, because we saw a clip, it said, Gage kills Judd." you know.
Right.
But
Right.
in
And now
this one,
it's Ellie.
Ellie kills Judd in this
Right,
one.
it's just,
so it's I don't know. They did something weird with
Exactly.
it. They switched it around.
It
switched
literally
backwards.
is
Yeah.
almost the same thing. There's just a little switcheroo.
They just switched the daughter.
We're back from the spoiler. You're good. Yes, you're good on the spoilers now. Because honestly, it's not a spoiler. I could tell you a lot of things, and it still wouldn't spoil the movie.
Yeah.
Would I recommend going and see it in theaters on a
not.
matinee? And if you got
You got like $10
sure.
bill laying around.
But on a
Go see
normal time, no. I just wait. I'll wait till it
I
comes on
wouldn't go at
Netflix or
prime
whatever
time,
it's coming to.
Paid $10 to go see that movie. No, but if you want to go see it in a matinee or just wait until it comes on like DirecTV or something like that, go for it.
And I'm not really the biggest horror movie fan, but over the last like 6 or so months, I mean, heck, even this past October, kind of watching them and not for the reasons I used to not watch horror movies, and I kind of ignore that now and try to enjoy it for what it is, because there's not much that scares me anymore. But back in the day, when I was younger, lots of scary movies scared me, but I liked them.
Yeah.
I watched them anyway for some stupid, it was just that, man, I liked being scared. Then I got, semi older, like into my low 20s, and it was just kind of like an annoyance to me. It wasn't my thing. I didn't, and a lot of movies in that era, like, The Ring and what is the other one with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
The Ring and I don't know.
It has the Asian boy in it that screams and he's white.
Oh, The Grudge.
The Grudge.
Yeah.
Right. When those movies came out, it was like, is this it? You know what I mean?
Man, those movies scared the crap out of me. I was a kid at the time. I was like 11, 12 years old when those came out. So it scared the crap out of me.
Time of your era, of course, understands. And I grew up with, Freddy Krueger and Leprechaun and Michael Myers. And Jason.
When I was a kid, every Halloween I would always watch Friday the 13th. That is my second favorite horror movie of all time. Is Friday the 13th.
Part 1 or 2.
The remake was okay. I like part 2.
Of course, I was gonna say
part 1 doesn't have Jason in it. There's no
it
Jason.
doesn't.
It's just a
spoiler
mom.
alert. It's mom.
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it,
if you haven't
came out
seen
in the
that,
freaking
seriously,
70s.
I'm not even gonna. We're not even doing a spoil on that. And, if you've seen Scream, he literally spoils it for you at the beginning of that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Jason. I've seen that movie 14 damn times. Wrong. Jason's mother was the original killer. Exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's part 2, of course, because Jason, he comes back, and I enjoyed the remake that came out. What was that? 2014, I think. I think something like that.
He runs. That's why I like that movie. It's
he does.
a
Get
Jason
it a
that
little
runs
bit.
is
Yeah.
like, oh god,
he does get it a little
because he's
bit.
already like scary in beast mode, and he runs in that movie. Yeah,
and then we can just ignore Jason X. That's just not.
No,
that's not a thing.
No, that's not a movie.
And Jason Takes Manhattan or whatever it
that's
is.
A horrible
that's
movie.
Not a movie.
It has
either.
one good scene, and that's when he punches the dude's head off. Another spoiler alert.
Like
who cares? Watch it.
Is that the scene where he kicks the boombox over?
Yeah.
When he's walking by, he kicks the boombox over and he keeps running.
Yeah, and then he goes up on the roof, and the dude's like, "Oh, forget this! I ain't going out like no punk." And he's just punching him in the face, not doing nothing. And Jason's like, "Blam!" And his head comes off, just one punch.
Those movies. Yeah, see, I watched those, and those are what made me fall in love with horror movies, and just horror movies in general are my favorite genre of movie. So
I've always been comedy and action, sci-fi only because of Star Wars. I really wasn't a big sci-fi until like maybe Star Troopers came out,
right?
And then I started, to get into the sci-fi stuff. And when Sci-Fi Channel was cool, in my opinion, it's not so much cool
when
anymore.
When it was spelled SCI,
yeah, the right way.
Yeah,
now it's Wi-Fi, Sci-Fi
Wi-Fi
going on here. It's Wi-Fi. I don't understand what's going on with that, but I don't know. I hear there's some good shows on there, like that Krypton show or whatever that's out about Superman.
I have no idea.
I've never seen it, but from what I hear, it's decent. It's about somebody that was a warrior on Krypton before everything went down. So.
And then mixing together Superman and horror, you got Brightburn coming out.
Yeah, that movie looks great. Yeah. It's literally reverse Superman horror movie.
Yep.
That scenario, what would happen? What would you do? What's going on? How's it gonna? That's what I'm curious. What are they gonna do?
I don't know, man.
I mean, because I hope it sets up for a sequel. I hope like a good superhero comes along.
It does well, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it leads into something more. Because
it's
that's
almost
awesome.
like a M. Night Shyamalan kind of superhero universe,
right?
With Unbreakable and Glass and Split and all that.
Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan, his track record lately, man. I was a big fan, and then he's just kind of.
And then after The Village, and then he made Glass is
that
good.
Great, amazing, horrible disaster of a film. Right
on. The Village, that was awful. But I really enjoyed Glass. That was a great movie.
I still have not seen that. I will. It's coming out soon.
Oh yeah, it should be coming out.
I'm gonna watch it then. I would like to watch Unbreakable again. Excuse me. But I don't need to watch blah, blah, blah. Split because I've watched the spoiler review and all the everything that was important about that movie that I cared about. I watched.
And like I said, you don't need to really know anything from Split other than he's got a dozen personalities. Right. That's it. So, and that one of them is called the Beast, and he's super strong whenever he becomes the Beast. That's all you need to know.
I haven't seen that movie yet. Well, get on it already.
Spoiler.
I mean, seriously. I mean, that's not a spoiler for that movie either. It's part of the other movies already came out. So
yep.
I know, but I think we've done pretty good about that. I know lots of places don't do very good with spoiler alerts anymore. They're just kind of like, oh, blam. And like on YouTube, you'll even see you'll go scroll down and literally the description of the movie is right there. And then we're like, spoiler alert.
It'll be
like okay, well,
it'll be like the full movie in clips, or it'll be just like one screenshot of just a super important scene. You're like, well, that's ruined. Yep. Like you saw a main character in the trailer, and then in this little clip, it's like them dying, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I guess that's over.
I don't understand that with movies lately. They're just. We watched a couple last night in the theater in the trailer, and it was literally they were showing the movie. And they showed the end in it. They show the beginning in it. They show in the middle what's going on, and it's like, okay, thanks.
Thanks, I know exactly what goes on in that movie.
Why do that?
I don't need to come here and spend money. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I need to get those fillers in. It's just like superhero movies and big franchises have been doing a good job of like lying to the person. Right. Consumer in the trailer, which is good because then you really don't know what's actually going on, and I appreciate that. I like the reason I like trailers is I like to see more of the outfits where they are. I don't really it could be silent for all I care. Yeah, just be able to see. Okay, they're going to be on that. They're going to be in space.
Visual cues.
Right, visual stuff, and even some of the visual stuff, like in Avengers, which we're going to get on next. Almost every Avenger movie. There's been some character or somebody that was in the trailer and is not in that scene in the movie.
Yep. Yeah,
almost every time. Like, mainly the Hulk because obviously, but
they were showing the charging scene and he was in the background, but it was actually he was in the Hulkbuster armor. Yes. It wasn't actually the Hulk. So, but yeah, that was a little Charlie 1-2 on you. Pulled the wool over your eyes.
Yeah, he did.
But that was an artistic choice.
Yes. Yes, very. Well, I mean, that's our review on Pet Semetary. Like I said,
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I mean, if horror movies your thing, or like you're a big giant fan of the first Pet Semetary,
you're a huge Stephen King fan or something like that.
Go see it. Apparently, there's a It reference.
There is. She was stuck in traffic 20 miles outside of Derry.
Oh, okay. So that's what the reference was. Okay.
It was Derry where the It monster is from.
Right, because everything is
Pennywise is from. I guess.
Right, exactly. Which I'm excited about It too, because it's adults now, just like Part 2. So I'm excited. That's gonna be great. And awesome. We're continuing our movies. We're gonna jump into what we're gonna probably see next in review. The next two films. We got Avengers Endgame, which is May 17th.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. But Detective Pikachu comes out on May 10th. So that'll probably be the first one. It's either or. I'm pretty sure Avengers is May 17th.
And then, doesn't Hellboy come before that? Or is that
Hellboy comes out, actually it comes out next week.
Yeah.
So actually, I totally forgot about that. I even have it written down on the sidebar here. But yeah, that will be the next round of movies that you're going to get reviews on. So, and then obviously, there might be another one, and then Star Wars in December. But it'll be Avengers, Hellboy, Detective Pikachu, Avengers. That'll be our next reviews, and hopefully we'll have some video content when we do that. Probably maybe like a quick live thing after we do the movie. Like here's our quick review because, I mean, reviews will be part of the show, but I mean we're on 15 minutes talking about a review and going into that. So I think we'll probably stick to like reviews being a tiny separate thing unless it's obviously something big like. The Avengers and Pokemon. We're gonna talk about it because those are gonna be giant hits, and we're talking about Pet Semetary because it was kind of one of those things like, hey, we need to go see this movie. Yeah. And let's get into the movie flow, and it seemed like a really good movie. We were only the 6 people.
I just woke up and was just like, you know what, I want to go see a movie, and then I just got onto
It made me want to be like, I want to be watching Avengers right now. Yeah. Like that's what it did. I was in the theater. I'm like, I'm ready for Avengers now.
Yeah, I'm ready for Avengers or Hellboy or one of these great movies to come out.
Yeah. So well, I mean, as far as movie news, like there's the new Joker movie that's coming out, and the first couple trailers are out there. Yeah. We had a pretty decent discussion over the last couple of days about the Joker movie. Our opinions are very similar.
similar.
but I'm more optimistic, and you're less optimistic.
I'm not very optimistic about this movie at all. It just doesn't look. It doesn't look like the Joker. It doesn't look like him to me because I grew up with the origin story of him being the Red Hood. He
Right.
grew up. He goes to the gangsters. His wife gets killed. They tell him, hey, you got to do this job. We're gonna pay you. And he puts on the Red Hood, ends up falling in the chemicals, becomes insane because
Killing Joke, Red Hood,
yeah,
all together.
yeah,
Right.
all that stuff together. And that's the origin story that I stick with and I love. And I just do not like this origin story at all with his mom and the bullying and just all this stuff. It just doesn't look like the Joker to me. But like I read that theory that said it wasn't the Joker. It's a predecessor to the Joker. So
Right, this person will inspire.
inspire the Joker, and that kind of raised my hopes for it a little bit. I'm hoping maybe like we were just saying, trailers are misleading nowadays or can be misleading nowadays, and I'm hoping this is one of those movies that's misleading us.
I really think it is. I don't think that's the final product. I think the final product of the Joker that we'll see will be at the end. But I think it has to be a great movie overall because, the talk right now about the Matt Reeves Batman movie is supposed to be set around the same era and same time. Is it going to be good enough to be the, that's like Batman's first villain and, all that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be that good. I don't know if they're going to be tied together at all. Is that just a theory that they're in the same universe, or is it confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but all signs point in that direction.
Right.
But if this movie isn't successful, there's the rumor also that if it's not, then it won't be.
And
because this Joker is if you're a Marvel person or a DC person, and there's obviously different universes, different things going on all over the place. It has been said that this is in a different universe, obviously because we're going back to the 80s, and there's the Heath Ledger, universe. There's the Michael Keaton universe. There's all those universes.
Right.
And even the Gotham TV show, for that matter,
has its own Joker.
But it has its own, and they're doing it in a weird way. But we'll get into that. I don't really get into that. That show's never been my thing. No. I know people that love it, and I've seen some cool things about it, but no, that's never been my thing.
Yeah, I haven't been into that show at all.
As far as my expectations are not high, but I'm more positive that it's going to be it'll have really cool stuff in it, and that it'll be a good movie. Have really cool stuff in it. I don't know what the outcome. I hope all that stuff we see in the trailer is like the first 20 minutes.
Very weird direction.
I hope it's like the first 20 minutes and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the rest. Because you see at the beginning of the trailer, he's moping around and, he's all broken down. And like you said, he gets beat up and his mom's got a thing going on. And then you see him in the end of the trailer and he's makeup and he's all happy and he's got the maroon suit on and he's walking with some swagger and confidence and stuff. I hope that's not the end of the movie.
I hope not.
I hope that's very early on. And then the rest of it is him
he
evolving.
The wig thing, and then
he's like, this makeup sucks, or something. The actual thing happens to him, and his face gets messed up, and he has to, do all that.
I hope his face.
Because you see in the trailer, like he's pulling up his mouth, like he wants to keep that permanent smile, and he does. Even at the end of that trailer, he just still has makeup on. So I'm assuming something is still actually going to happen to him.
I hope it's not just makeup and makes it look like it, but. But like I said, who knows, man? I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it, but I'm gonna go see it anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it anyway because it's DC, it's Batman universe, it's new, it's fresh compared to kind of what we got recently, and the Justice League stuff was excuse me,
garbanzo.
It's not really panned, and then of course Aquaman turns out to be good, and now Ezra Miller is out as the Flash.
Oh,
so
really?
He's done with the Flash as of now.
That was quick.
Yeah, that was quick. But obviously they were going to do his movie, and then that's on the hold now, and then they don't even know if Justice League 2 is coming. They got the Suicide Squad reboot 2 or whatever it is.
Right.
So it's just kind of. I hope this doesn't muddy the water any more than it's already muddy. That's the only thing I hope.
I hope not.
You know what I mean?
But I sincerely hope not. But I feel like it's definitely going to. It's going to muddy the water no matter what. Because
it'll be split either way already, kind of like The Last Jedi did.
Yeah, it's just going to split it right down the middle.
Right. And speaking of The Last Jedi and Star Wars, Star Wars news. I mean, of course, Celebration is this weekend. So we're hopefully get a title, hopefully get a trailer. That's the rumor, and they obviously have been waiting. If they waited any longer, it would literally not make any sense. So basically, I mean, I'm calling it. Everyone that I've listened to and talked to is basically calling it that the title and the trailer will be this weekend at Celebration, possibly within like literally the first day or two.
God, I hope so.
I really hope so. And on the Star Wars talk, the only really new about Star Wars is that apparently Kylo Ren has Luke's green lightsaber.
He has his green lightsaber now.
He has his green lightsaber crystal, apparently. How he got it, don't know. If he ends up finding it, if he had it the whole time, is that maybe why we didn't see the lightsaber?
Right.
Obviously, that means he lost it. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Last Jedi, when he does the thing with Kylo and it falls down on him,
Right.
obviously Kylo picks it up.
Probably.
Apparently, I'm assuming.
That's apparently where it happened.
So that's basically all we know, and I think from there's like some if this is kind of a spoiler alert if you're that hardcore into Star Wars, but even I'm not that hardcore when it comes to these kind of things. Apparently, Kylo's bald in this movie, and he's wearing the old mask that he's repaired, and in the cracks that he's rebuilt it is some kind of like force energy because it's like red glowing crystal in his mask.
So in this movie coming up, that's what he looks like?
That's what he looks like. Huh. So, I mean...
That's interesting.
Those are the pictures. Those are the rumors. The Star Wars theory talked about it. I mean, it looks... from what I'm seeing, like costumes, characters, people's going to be in it. It looks good. I know there was that fake wannabe poster that came out like 2 weeks ago that had C-3PO with Chewbacca's bowcaster.
Right.
Obviously, that's fake. It's not real because they didn't confirm it. We haven't seen it since then. I'm sure that will also be this weekend.
Right.
Hopefully, C-3PO isn't holding a bowcaster. But I am excited for what's going on. There is a little controversy in Star Wars that Ryan Johnson did his thing with Last Jedi, which basically pooped on what JJ did in The Force Awakens, and now apparently JJ is going to poop right back on Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
And he's going to retcon and go and do exactly what he had planned out and what they discussed from the very beginning, and he's going to do it that way. Does that mean, Luke's going to be alive or anything? I'm not. I don't think so. Probably not. Do I think it's going to be something completely different and like different compared on what we've even thought? Like he's a ghost, but he's able to do things now. You know what I mean? Because Yoda did things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yoda used lightning, and he's a Force ghost.
I don't know. It's I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the movie to come out. I mean, there's too many damn theories out there about,
especially with Star Wars lately.
This and that.
Because Last Jedi was not anything like we thought it was going to be.
It's like this is this way, and oh no, it's really this way. And it's like I'm just waiting for the movie,
the final product.
Yeah, because like.
But I mean, this is it, man. This is the end of the Skywalker saga. This is it. This is for all the marbles.
So everybody's going nuts with theories and stuff. I understand it, and it's just like I have no idea. Like
the only
whenever somebody's like, "Oh, what do you think this is, or do you think this is real, or whatever?" It's like, I don't know anymore. To be real, right. I don't know anymore. Right. I have no idea. I
keep seeing these things, and I really just don't know.
I see these things, and then it turns out they're not true, and then now there's this thing, and then that's not true, and it's
exactly.
It
goes back to trailers.
Yeah,
it just goes right back to it. Like
I just have to wait for the final product to come out, and I can't make up theories about movies anymore. There's just too much information out there to go off of. I mean, like once you find this one piece of information, it's it's totally what's the word I'm looking for?
Ass backwards.
It's not ass backwards, but it's contradictory to another thing that you saw,
or a book that came out, or a game that came out, or
something
whatever
like that. It's just like, man,
or a TV show.
Too much material out there to form
there is a lot
sane theory about.
That's been talked lately about. Is there a Star Wars overload?
Oh yeah, I feel it. I definitely feel there's a Star Wars overload.
I think there's a Star Wars overload, but I think it's gonna drop back to Earth.
Oh yeah,
because this is the end for this saga.
Episode 9 comes out,
and then people are gonna have their
all the pressure.
Feelings. They're gonna have a lot of feelings there, and then they'll need a little time, and then there's gonna be the show that comes out. Disney streaming service. Then we'll learn about the other movies, the Night Old Republic movies, and that's basically it's all it's going to be.
Right.
So I mean, is it an overload right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Will it be? I think it'll.
No,
come back to
yeah. Like I said, as soon as Episode 9 comes out,
when 2020 hits, all kinds of things are going to be different anyway. But
pressure is going to be released, and everybody's finally going to be satisfied, if you know what I mean.
And then you can watch 1 through 9, and that includes Rogue One and Han Solo and
all of them.
So. Well, I mean that pretty much does it for movies. I mean we have a little thing we're gonna do with when it comes to movies, and it's just a little quick thing we've been kind of going back and forth on with movies we've liked and stuff that we're a big fan of, and like we did last week was our favorite shows,
Right.
and things of that nature. What's the best worst movie ever in your opinion?
The best worst movie in
Yeah,
my
like
opinion?
the best movie that you can think of that's just so horrible, and it's horrible. Not the guilty pleasure,
Right.
but it's that good, but it's maybe not even pandered as bad. It's just you're like that is just pure garbage, but it's just so gorgeous and awesome, and I'll watch it all the time.
Probably Tremors 2, Aftershocks. Like that is a
You know what? That is a
terribly-
really good one.
That's a
That's a good
terribly
one.
good movie.
That is
That
a really awful but awesome
terribly good movie. Like that is.
It's like half horrible acting, half cool stuff.
half stupid one-liners. Like
half whole. What is happening right now?
Wait, hang on, what's going on?
These are 90s, early 2000 graphics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
wow, that's a good one. All right. I mean,
it's probably.
I mean,
Tremors 2.
I know the Tremors one is my favorite.
Tremors 1 is just a good movie.
It's just good movie
That's
all
a
around.
good movie all around.
You know,
yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin
Speaks
Bacon,
for
you
itself,
can't-
man.
Can't go
But
wrong.
yeah, number two is definitely good. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah. Tremors 2, Aftershocks. That's definitely a.
If you haven't seen any of the Tremor movies, I would suggest watching 1, 2, 3. You probably don't need to go past.
You can watch 4 if you want. If you want to be
can.
like hardcore about it.
You can even watch that new one,
You
Cold
can
Day in Hell
watch
or whatever.
Cold
but
Day in Hell with what's his name?
the Malibu's Most Wanted,
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy. Yeah.
Yeah, which he doesn't look like Jamie Kennedy at all anymore. He just I don't. It's like I saw him and I'm like, who's that guy? That's not
Who's
Jamie
that guy
Kennedy.
with Bert?
Yeah, what? No. Wow. Okay, you come a long way from Malibu, man.
Yeah.
If I had to choose my the best worst movie ever, I'm honestly gonna. It's part of a little movie segment what I wanted to talk about, and I'll say it, and it's fresh.
Yeah.
Dune is the best worst movie ever.
That was such a terrible movie, dude.
That was so. I
was so
watched it.
good.
I've remember stuff as a kid because my mom watched it. My grandparents watched it because my grandpa was a big sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
And he owned a video store, so obviously he watched all those types of movies. But I mean, I didn't remember anything. Nothing. Only thing I remember was like a few lines and one scene in particular. And obviously, I watched the director's cut when I was younger because there were some scenes that were missing. But I overall like it was so different and it was so cool and it was so neat, and then how things were run, it was like Game of Thrones and then science fiction and Star Wars and Star Trek and all kinds of stuff. Just
Lord of the Rings
just all mashed into this crazy, disgusting, gross, gritty, awesome, pretty neat movie. And I gave it 4 out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
For
Yeah,
Dune.
yeah,
And
4 out of
that to
5.
me, like, because I was thinking about it and it inspired me, and I even tried to think of other movies, like, what is the. I mean, there's some out there, but to me, that movie,
Dune, yeah.
that movie takes the cake. And we watched Dune because they're coming out with the remake of this movie.
Yeah.
Some of the cast is out. I don't really remember who. I think Idris Elba is part of the cast, if I'm not mistaken,
Dude,
and The
yeah,
Rock or something too. I'm not positive
Past
on that.
week, it was just sticking in my brain. I was like, man, Dune. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
Dune, and then it was popping up. A bunch of streaming services have it now. It's on Amazon, is where we
I was
watched it.
like, man, let's
But
watch Dune. And
Dune.
It's 2.5 hours. It's a long movie.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
If you're gonna watch it, make sure you don't have anything to do.
right,
So,
but it's
a long-
engaging. Even like from the
Oh, yeah.
beginning, you're like, what in the
world?
what
There's
is
a-
that? And you're like, ew, gross. Whoa, what?
Yeah, there's like
ew.
a floating fat
Oh,
man.
that was
and
awesome,
there's,
though.
like, yeah.
That was totally cool. Then you see things that remind you of other things. Oh, man, this is totally like Game of Thrones.
The
This is-
giant worms.
yeah,
and the
I mean,
graboids
it's just,
and,
everything about it was just. Is there stupid stuff? Is there horrible
yeah.
acting in parts? Is there
so much.
horrible makeup and horrible outfits?
The main character, that dude, he does a terrible
Yeah,
job.
he does
But-
horrible, especially later on when
but
he
it's
becomes
just
who he becomes. And,
Engaging though, he's putting so much heart into it. You're just like, I'm with you, dude. Like, yeah, man, go for it. I'm with you.
overacting maybe is the word.
Overact, yeah. He puts his heart into it, dude. He puts his heart into it.
And he was the dude from the Flintstones. He's the,
was he?
the dude in Dune. That's the star. Is the bad guy from the Flintstones movie with John Goodman.
No ish. I didn't
Mr.
know that.
Slate, not Mr. Slate, because Mr. Slate's the guy. I don't, I can't think of a name. I'm thinking Rock and Stone because
Right.
obviously it's Flintstones, and I can't think of it. Somebody's shouting, and I'll think of it later. But
Somebody put it in the
yeah,
comments.
that's who the actor is in that movie. Do I recommend it? Yeah, watch
Oh,
it.
yeah, watch
Seriously, if there's like some science fiction movie or you've even thought about watching it, do yourself a favor and just do it. You'll be engaged the whole time. Just
yeah, if you got
grab
3
some
hours to
popcorn,
kill
grab some
and-
snacks, whatever. Is it for children? No, no.
No, not really.
There's not really like any sexuality
there's
much
no
or anything
nudity
of that
or anything
type of
like
thing.
that. No,
It's just gross,
there's just some
violent
There's
in
just
ways,
some gross parts and there's some violent parts and
very dramatic.
just
Some
suspenseful parts.
some
and
voices, some things of that nature that might be just not suitable for kids. Don't watch it. I
Or
may have
where
done
the
it, but
dude-
obviously that was the early
where
'90s.
he
So
floats over to him, rips a thing, and does the thing with the stuff. Yeah, that was weird.
that was just
And he's staring at Sting at that one part, and he's just
yeah.
like,
There you go. Yeah, Sting. He's the most famous
beautiful,
person
yeah.
in that movie, by the way.
He's like, beautiful, whatever your name is. And
Right.
it's like, what the
Yeah.
H is going on, man?
Sting is a freak in that movie.
He's weird.
Really weird. He reminds me like the Green Goblin. Is what he reminds me of.
Very weird.
Very weird.
Very
But
weird guy.
that's my best worst movie ever.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Dune. Check it out. Going on from movies to TV. Oh man, there's a lot of TV, but the only TV that honestly matters when it comes to, excuse me, phew.
Oh, he's dying.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Streaming services, and that's HBO because it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of
Sunday,
Thrones.
Sunday night, season premiere, final season. Game of
Season 8
Thrones.
coming
Unfortunately, it is during the Blues game, but we're going to be watching on both TVs
fine.
because that's how we roll. And we'll get on to Blues playoffs here shortly. But Game of Thrones is out. How the freak excited are you, man?
Man, I'm pretty excited. I'm really excited.
We just went through and
I
finished
want it.
season 7 again.
Yeah, we just went through.
Just
we
to catch up.
We watched part of season 1, got the gist of all the important stuff
Because they
that we
said this
missed.
season is important because it goes back to the first season.
Yeah, it goes back
a
to
lot.
the first season.
A lot.
So we watched half the first season, then we just watched all the second season, and now, yeah, I'm ready. I'm pumped. I'm ready for season 8 to come
What are you
out.
excited about the most?
The end. Just seeing the very
seeing
final
the
episode,
final.
seeing how they're going to wrap it up. That's what I'm excited about.
I know we talked about it in previous episodes. I don't think anyone's going to be on the throne.
No.
I don't think you think
No.
anyone's going to be on the throne at the end. I don't think anybody wins.
I think everybody's going to die.
And if there
That's what I
is,
think.
honestly, this is how I see it. I don't even see him sitting on it.
No.
Whoever's like the head honcho
I see it.
at the end
Oh, yeah.
is going to be standing next to it.
Yeah.
Because everything is just gone.
I see it like being like melted by the by the zombie dragon
Yeah.
or whatever. That's what I see.
That's what I see.
I see the Night King come flying in on it. He's just gonna hit it with that crazy blue fire, and it's just gonna melt into a puddle, and that's just gonna be it for the Iron Throne.
Yep.
And nobody's gonna get to sit on it.
Right. Are people going to be mad? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is it the way it should?
Am I gonna be
go?
mad?
Yeah,
Probably.
Probably a little bit.
Probably.
But it's Game of Thrones. It's
probably
one of
gonna
those
be salty.
shows that, you know what? You're
I
awesome.
was salty
so
when
do
Jon
what you gotta
Snow
do.
got stabbed up, man. I'm glad they brought him back, but I was salty about that.
I was real salty.
Sorry about whoever hasn't seen that.
If you haven't
season
seen
yet.
all of Game of Thrones, I'm sorry, but seriously, we're talking about this, the final
the
season
final
here on
season.
Sunday.
So if you haven't seen it, sorry, catch up, whatever.
I mean,
Jon Snow
you-
gets stabbed by everybody in the Night Watch.
honestly, you could say a lot of things about Game of Thrones. It'd be pretty hard to spoil it unless you know what I mean. If you've never seen it,
True.
there's not too much that's going to spoil it because you're gonna get so deep in it, you're gonna later forget what I said. But yes, will you be expecting to see that happen at some point? Sure,
Oh yeah,
but it's not going to ruin anything. So
yeah. I mean, it's not.
it's Game of Thrones.
You're gonna be like, oh, that's where that fits in. Okay.
Right.
You know,
I'm most excited just for the final of all the character development that we've seen and all the guys that are left.
just the end of their arcs.
Just the end of what they are and what they've done. Because I've expected every single one of them to die at this already.
Yeah.
I expected almost everybody to be dead at this point.
oh yeah,
and they're not. You know what I mean?
At least the entire Lannisters to all be
Yeah.
wiped out by now.
I expected a lot. I expected all kinds of more shady stuff than you saw early on towards the end, and it's not.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Is it for the better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because they had me worried. Like season 6 was not the best. I think it's the weakest.
Yeah. Season
of
6
all
was
of 'em.
definitely the weakest.
But even in those episodes, there's still really, really good stuff.
Fourth
but-
season, in my opinion, that's the best season.
I mean, I'm sad to see it go. But I mean, there are obviously like 3 prequel shows in development. So I don't know how
Yeah,
many
all
of
the
those we're gonna
prequel
get.
shows, and then they're gonna have the show afterwards, where like all the cast members get together and like
Yes.
talk about the show and
Yes.
all kinds of stuff.
So I mean, and I mean, it's so long, and I mean, it's one of those like it's like Band of Brothers and all those kind of things. It's never gonna go out of style.
Like what we went through the run times. The first ones are gonna be about 50 minutes. The later ones are the ones that are gonna be about an hour and a half. So
Right. Exactly. Yeah, the first couple are normal, and then they're longer and more.
and then the last ones.
Because there's only
like
6
a movie.
episodes.
Yeah.
So
Last like 3, I think 3 or 4 are like movies. They're like an hour and a half a piece.
which is good. I'm excited
That's
about
gonna
that.
be awesome. Run times. Yeah.
I was listening to Sports Radio 101 today, and they were asking the question of if given a choice, who would you most want to hang out and party with and go into battle with on Game of Thrones?
Baratheon, King Baratheon, Robert.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the guy that I would party with. This guy I'd be hanging out with all the time.
I mean, he did know how to drink and party and eat, for sure.
He knew all the good spots.
And I answered when I did. It was the same that the host of the show said, and it would be Braun, Sir Braun of the Blackwater, and because he's awesome. You know, he's been like everybody's boy. He's just one of those guys that like for a while, like I thought he was gone, and then just like shows up. And he's just such a smart ass, and
Yeah.
you know, he's awesome, and he's loyal, and he's cool, and he's calm, and he tells you how it is, straightforward.
yeah.
So he's to me is who I would totally be hanging out with
That'd
and
be
going
awesome.
to battle and party with would be Sir Braun of the
yeah.
Blackwater, and that's not Bran, the 3-eyed raven.
No, it's
know.
Braun.
Braun.
Braun, the
Braun.
cool guy.
Yeah, it's the cool guy Braun, who looks like my best friend Tim. When he gets older, that's exactly what he's going to look like. So, totally, it's like his doppelganger.
Nice.
But yes, Game of Thrones. Can't wait. This Sunday evening, HBO. Be there. Hope you have a streaming service or somebody's password.
Yep.
So, continuing on TV, we watched some cool stuff on TV recently. Love, Death, Robots.
Yeah, that was a great show.
I gave it a 5 out of 5.
I give it a 5 out of 5. That was really, really
All the
good.
way. This show has it all. It is like CGI. There's
It's
one live
CGI,
action. It's mainly anime. Mainly
science fiction. It's anime. It's all kind, and all the most of the animations are really, really good. Some of them are, you can tell the ones where they went with an artistic choice of like hand drawn animations, which was, it's not my favorite style, but it's it's bearable. But the majority of them are like those cool, smooth 3D graphics and all that good stuff, and they just go through an anthology of just different.
Different
science
story arcs of
fiction,
things. Yeah.
story lines, story arcs, and all kinds of stuff.
I really
It's
can't
just-
say much about it without spoiling it, except for what we just really said. It's kind of like one of those. There's even like a little the spin wheel at the beginning. It lets you know like there's
The
little
little
symbols.
slot
It's gonna let you
machine,
know
it
kind of
tells
what the
you-
episode's about.
Yeah, it tells you like it
There's gonna be death,
alludes
love,
to
and
what,
and cars in this episode. There's gonna be
or like bandits, guns and drugs,
right
or
whatever
something like
exactly.
That, and it's not for kids. Like don't
Definitely not for kids.
There's
Nudity. There's
a lot of
sexual
nudity.
stuff.
There's a lot of
language,
cursing. There's a lot of
gore.
all kinds of
And it's
stuff.
on that's on Netflix. I gave it a 5 out of 5 because literally the first episode, about halfway through, I was just like, I was hooked, and then I was like, is this what it's going to be like? And then it wasn't, and I was like, oh wow, okay, what's this now? And then that one was good, and then the next one was really cool, and then it just everything was so different. It was like binge watching something, but
Right.
but in a different way. It was like, oh wow, it's
that's
like the
just
series,
those-
but it's different things each time, and
Yeah, it's just the anthology.
kind of like Outer
system.
Limits, and we
It's,
watched an episode of that the other day.
Yeah, it just goes through, totally. It just drops you right into whatever universe you're going into next. No origin stories, none of that BS. It just drops you right into the action, and
Right.
you figure it out on the way through.
My
It's really,
favorite
really
is
cool.
the mech episode.
The
Farmer
Mac-
Max.
Oh, the Farmer Max. Yeah, that was a really
Farmer
good
Max.
one.
That's all I'll say about that one. Totally wicked, totally awesome. Great story. A lot of drama on that one, but just action and
Dude,
it's
my
just
favorite, my favorite one, it's got to be the one where the dude's stuck on the ship for forever, and he just keeps going through the thing in his mind. Remember that the alien was going into his mind, making him think he sees his ex-wife and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, that was a great one, man. That was so funny.
that and the robots, just the straight up robots like Wall-E type style.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really good one as well. But yeah, man, that one with the alien, that one, that one just cracked me up. I want to say so much, but I can't.
I know it's hard to when it comes to it because not episode's not very long.
Yeah,
there's a lot of episodes.
All the episodes are only like the longest run times, maybe 17, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like that.
And most of them are like 11, 8, 11.
They're very, very short. So, but yeah, definitely.
But seriously, if you had Netflix, do yourself a
out.
favor. You want something to binge watch. You want something that's cool and crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Excuse me. Check out Love, Death, Robots. So. Yesterday, before we were going to record, we were kind of going over what substance of the God Almost Show episode 8 was going to be about. And I said and wrote down, Futurama. Will it come back? Will it be picked up by somebody else like Netflix or everything?
No.
Hulu, something? I say yes, and you say no.
I say no.
Why do you say no?
Because Futurama's dead.
But the last season was not worthy. It's on 9. It needs to go to 10. There needs to be at least one more.
Everybody that's worked on that show's like moved on to like other.
But they could come
projects and all
back.
kinds of stuff.
I'm wishful thinking.
They're
Okay,
just-
I know.
they're
I know. I'm just
done.
peeing in the wind. Okay,
Done.
I get it. But I wanted to come back, and I just feel like it's one of those shows that if any show of that nature that could come back, I mean, come on.
Right, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, no show besides Family Guy has survived 3 revives. Like, it got revived once by, well, I should say 2 revives. It got revived once by Comedy Central, and they picked it up for those last few seasons, and then that was pretty much it. Like, that was a wrap up.
Yeah.
That was the wrap.
Well, 7, 8, 9, yeah, because season 6 is the movies, the films that
Right.
came in between time.
Right.
Which the films are great. But
Yeah, the films
I don't
are
know. I just wish.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I wish they would come back and it'd be like old times and new episodes of Futurama coming out. But I don't see it happening. No, I think it's completely dead in the water.
I mean, I'm totally fine if
Shelved.
they never did either. It would just be great.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would just be awesome to see. That kind of thing. That's my wishful
great.
thinking.
But
The other TV news is SmackDown Live's coming to Fox Sports.
SmackDown Live coming to Fox Sports.
Because there's some wrestling fans I know listening out there, and
Yep.
I mean I'm not as big as I used to be, or anything. But hey, just let you know, like, hey, if you got Fox Sports and you don't want to pay for the WWE network and all that kind of junk, and you want to watch wrestling, guess what? It's going to be on Fox Sports.
Coming to Fox Sports.
Coming to Fox Sports, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It's just a little bit of news
Yeah, I have
about
no
what's on
idea.
TV.
I don't know what's going on with WWE.
I don't know anything. They announced it during the
don't know
game yesterday,
nothing.
I think. We were watching.
After-
So that's it. That's all I know about that.
yeah.
The last bit of the TV news that we're going to roll onto is we were talking about the Orville before this show started. We've talked about it in previous episodes. Do yourself a favor and watch season 1. Do yourself a favor and do not watch season 2,
Yep.
especially after the news that you informed me of prior to the show.
I did. So apparently Seth MacFarlane had the idea of pulling the wool over everybody's eyes and saying that the Orville was supposed to be this hybrid, more of a comedy, but hybrid between comedy and drama. But in reality, he actually just wanted a more serious show. So he did the first season, all comedy, all that stuff. And then the second season comes around, they give him creative control because the first season did so well. And now he's doing what he originally wanted to do, which is, pulled another Charlie 1-2 on you. Now I'm going to be, doing more drama stuff. So screw you guys is basically what the interview portrayed in my
I wish you could
eyes.
see the look on my face right now.
It's so dumb. Like he totally just, he pulled the rug right out from underneath of us, and the networks for that matter. He kind of just, what's the word?
Swindled?
Swindled, but I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
You know what I mean?
Swindled everybody.
I've been a gigantic supporter of that man for so long, and you know what? I'm still a fan, and I'll still support him. But do I want to kick him where the sun doesn't shine? Yeah.
Oh yeah, right in the old
Because
tushy.
he ruined for one thing, the number 1 rated show on Fox of all time, like the fastest growing, the number 1, the best rated ever, ever. Check it out. Don't worry, I'll wait. And he's gonna flip the script because that's what he wants to do.
Because that's what he wanted in the first place. He didn't want to do a sci-fi comedy drama. He just wanted to do a sci-fi drama like Star Trek.
It seems to me as like, okay, this is number 1 rated show. I'm gonna lose half my fans. It's still gonna be popular. Ha.
Yep. So, I still get paid.
It's awful. This
Yeah.
new season is awful.
Yeah. That's
Every
terrible.
episode has been pure garbage.
We haven't seen the last 5, 6,
I don't even
7
want to.
episodes. Yeah, something like that.
Unless it's like literally the whole episode is them fighting other ships in space. I don't care.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't want
done.
to see it. I don't want to see
I
it.
don't want. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be headlines all over the place. Episode blah 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 of the Orville, the most dramatic and stunning epic space battle of television history. Then I'll watch it.
Then I'll watch
Otherwise,
it,
I'm not
but-
watching it.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it.
not
I was
wasting my time.
I was so hyped. I told a lot of people to watch it. I know a
yeah.
lot of people that have watched the first season because of me, and then like I literally had to tell them, don't even
bother with it.
don't even waste your time. I mean, I can't even recommend it to the people of drama because it literally takes such a turn from what the first season was and just poops on it. It's not it's not the same. You might as well just switch to all the actors.
Because he screwed everybody.
And then they lose one of the best characters, the girl in there, because I figured, okay, she's going to bigger and better things. Obviously, it's clear now why she left.
She left because she was like, "This isn't what
This
I was
isn't
brought
what I
on
signed
for."
up for. This isn't this Orville. This isn't
Like he
cool
probably
at all.
came up with some weird concept where she was gonna get pregnant somehow or something. She was
Probably.
like, "Nope, I'm
Yeah,
out."
she goes, well, obviously, spoiler alert. For this, it's all about romance and people in love and relationships
People
and
breaking up,
daytime
and getting together
drama, Emmy crap.
Yeah,
It might as well be on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, you freaking might as well take your soap spot.
Really, I mean, seriously, it should. It's disappointing, and there's not too many shows that I've loved, and then they've just take such a. I mean,
Drastic
I've
turn.
seen seasons that were not as good as
Right.
the oncoming seasons, but there was still at least like an episode or two that was just like so good that was like
There's
worth
still a handful of episodes in that season where you could,
Right.
sit down and halfway enjoy it.
Yeah,
but
these
it just makes you uncomfortable.
No, and I mean, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of listeners that I know, in fact, don't really watch, local and primetime TV anymore.
Right.
So I mean, I know a lot of people that still probably haven't watched the Orville, and maybe you're getting into it, you're gonna be disappointed. So unless he, flips it
after-
again or something, I see the show being done.
Unless
into the
after
season.
this interview he gets a buttload of backlash and he's like, okay, fine, and goes back to doing what he was doing. Yeah, I'm not watching.
I mean, and then I understand too. That's why I still respect him because that's what you want to do and that's your dream and that's your vision.
What you should have told the network.
It should have been
first,
the beginning.
From
Exactly.
the beginning.
Let us get what
the
that
only
is.
reason he didn't say it at the beginning was because he knew that wasn't going to get picked up by the network because that had already been done with Star Trek and your Battlestar Galactica and all that stuff. That time had passed.
It was
but they were
Galaxy Quest and Star Trek.
But
and,
they were like,
now it's
a comedy? Okay,
it's
let's do that. And then he's
dramedy
like,
track now.
He's just like, screw you guys. I'm doing what I want. So, I don't know. Whatever.
Extremely disappointing. Shame on you.
Yeah.
So they're doing this whole thing lately. Everywhere, where they're yellow carding and red carding people, like soccer terms, because St. Louis, we want the soccer team. Everybody wants the MLS soccer team.
Right.
So everyone's doing the red card and the red card and yellow card. And who would you give it to? Well, right now, I would give a red card to Seth MacFarlane. You need to sit down, bro. You need to sit down, think about what you did.
I would give him a yellow card. I'd give him a chance to turn it around. I'd give him a yellow card.
I want him to think. I want him to think. I
about
really
it.
want him to think, though. The yellow card, a yellow card will make him think for a second, but he knows he's still getting away with what he wants to do. So I'm gonna give him a red card. Well, that's pretty much it for TV. We've covered the movies and the TVs, and we are going to jump real quick before we finish out the show. We're on about 50 minutes now. Hope you've enjoyed what we've given you so far. We're going to move on to games. There's some cool news in games. There's some news about what we've been doing with games and what we're going to do soon with games. I mean, obviously, there's some games coming out soon, but there's really not a lot on the docket for this year. And the ones that have either been a big giant disappointment or they're not up to the hype, or games like Anthem and Apex, and it was up and now it's crap now. And Ninja's not streaming Fortnite anymore after what he said and what he did, so he's not playing Fortnite or any of that game anymore.
What am I
What am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do now?
Honestly, he lasted longer than I thought he was gonna last, but
That's
I'm
true.
sick of his face.
I thought he was gonna be a flash in the pan, but he was a little more like a fire.
New Year's Eve is what ruined him when he tried to make everyone dance like the Fortnite dance.
Really?
And nobody did it, and it was like calm. You could hear crickets.
Oh, thank God.
And pretty much after that, it just
I want to see that video.
went down. Yeah, he's
just
like,
revel.
everyone do the thing,
Just-
and
I just wanna
everyone's
revel
just
in
like,
it.
no.
No, I refuse.
I'm not 12.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sorry,
you
I'm
know,
not.
all your viewers are like, between 9 and 12 years old.
No.
Like,
So
sorry.
R.I.P.
Rip Ninja. Bye.
Bye. Finally.
Yeah.
Took longer than I thought it was going to take.
World's better off.
Games we played. We just beat Battlefront 2 on the hardest difficulty on story mode. Played through it again.
Very, very anticlimactic.
Yes.
We were watching Dune, so.
Yes. We were watching
just
Dune.
kind of went through the motions.
I
And
mean, I already knew what happened, and it's just playing it on the hardest difficulty. Were there parts that were a pain in the butt? Yes.
They were stuck on the platform.
I was stuck on this one part
days.
for a very long time, couple days, just because it was if you didn't do exactly what I did, you weren't getting through it. So yeah, I mean, overall, I give this game, I gave it a 5 out of 5. The online stuff is good. It has EA sucks, and literally the servers shut down all the time. Of course, my internet is horrible, and that doesn't help.
I'm hoping it's a mixture of both.
I think it's a mixture of both.
It gets better.
I'm just sick of
if you
EA.
do switch
Period.
over,
Stick to sports. We've already gone off on EA enough. I'll give EA a yellow card. That's for sure.
Yellow.
Yeah, you get a couple yellow actually, for that matter. Star Wars: The Jedi Fallen Order. They released a little teaser picture. It is online. You can check it out now. It's pretty cool. I'm guessing they're going to do maybe a trailer probably at Star Wars Celebration this weekend. But it's just basically, I think we're going to get what we think it is. You're going to be probably a rogue Jedi, and you're probably going to run into all the ones that have disappeared and gone into hiding. And obviously, you have to run from Darth Vader, that kind of thing, because that's what Darth Vader's job is. Darth Vader. That's what Darth Vader's job is.
Darth Vader.
I'm dyslexic. I'm sorry. Go back to previous episode. I explained it. Pretty sure it was episode 2 or 3. I'm not quite positive. But yeah, so it's everything that's sounding about this game, everything that's been talked about with this game, I'm excited for. It seems like it's going to be a Force Unleashed, but not as friendly.
Not as,
you know how you're just dominant. You're OP. You're so OP in the Force Unleashed, especially if you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, dude!
And
I picked that game up and I was like just barreling through the first level. You saw me doing it. Yeah.
Now that's a game you crank up the difficulty into the Jedi Master. You're gonna be on in a month or two.
Right.
Because I was, and there's a couple fights in that game that you're gonna be on for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Strictly because it's that generation 360 PlayStation 3. The buttons and the controllers. If you played that game on Xbox One, like now, even with the updates, it doesn't really matter. It's the speed of doing things, because a lot of the parts in the game is select. You have to push X at a certain time and A at a certain time.
It's quick time events.
It's bad. It's real bad, and it's because of how hard it is going to screw you. So, but is this game going to be similar to that? What I heard from what I've seen so far, yes. So I'm very excited finally about that. There are rumors out there of a new Rogue Squadron game or a new just straight space game of that nature. But that's
I hope they remake a Rogue Squadron.
I hope so. There needs to be another one, because they're all good games. All the Rogue Squadron games are great. They're all legendary.
Yeah.
And now that LucasArts is back in the picture, not necessarily taking over for EA, but they're keeping them in the corner, but they can't get rid of them yet, because they literally can't even say that we are getting rid of them. They just are.
Yeah.
It's because everyone was like, "Oh yeah, finally they're gone." No, actually, they're not really
They're
gone.
just kind of.
And LucasArts has been kind of in it lately. That's why you've gotten quality with this last game. That's why you've gotten the updates and the stupid crate things and all the microtransactions gone from that game. Right. That was the number one problem when this game came out.
All the characters became unlocked.
And it was just unlocked and done. Here you go, bam.
There you go.
Now, does that hurt for the people that bought at the beginning? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sucks for you guys.
That sucks for you, dude. But seriously, it was pay to win. Yeah. And now it's pay to it's not pay to play anymore either. It's just play. If you want to pay, okay. Sure,
yeah, if you want to pay, if you want to throw a little extra in, cool.
Right, but is it time for that kind of crap to stop? That's for another episode. Yes, obviously. There's some cool. There's some games coming out. There's Crash Team Racing. I'm excited about that. We played through and pretty much beat down the Crash trilogy recently on Xbox One. It was great. It was grueling and difficult and made you want to punch things, but it was a great game. So I'm very excited for that game to come out. If you're fan of Mario Kart or anything like that, and are you a fan of Crash at all, pick this game up. It looks great. It's pretty much the same as the other Crash games, but remastered. So it'll be easier, it'll look better, more playability. Hopefully there's some online play your buddies and racing and things of that nature.
Right.
But other than that, as ways of game news, there really isn't. There is a big sale you mentioned earlier before we started the show.
Big sale coming for the eShop for Nintendo for the Switch and the 3DS. A bunch of games are going on sale for up to 60% off. That starts April 11th, goes through the 25th. So that's this Thursday through next Saturday?
I believe so.
Next something. So anyway,
I don't know math.
I don't know numbers,
Yes.
but anyway, 11th through the 25th. So if you have a Switch or a 3DS, a lot of good games are going on sale. I believe Breath of the Wild was like 33% off. Dark Souls Remastered was like 50% off, I believe. A couple games for the
Doom
3DS.
was 50% off, I
Yeah,
think you
Doom was
said.
50% off. All the games coming out or going on sale for the 3DS are all 33% off a piece. I forget which games those were, but so yeah, if you're a huge fan, you can get like Xenoblade, Zelda, Mario, the Rabbids
Yeah, now's the
games,
time.
all the stuff. Now's the
the
time.
time.
Or the 11th is the time, I should say.
GameStop is most likely going out of business or changing formats, and
Yeah.
this kind of
GameStop's
ways
going away
is the way it's going, which kind of goes into our other subject. When the Wii store is down, it doesn't exist anymore. But obviously the Switch is the new thing, and that's the store you can get games on. So obviously, check
Just
that
go
out.
to
That's
the
where
old
you'll get
eShop on your Switch and or 3DS.
right, which is a huge blockbuster of a sale,
Yeah, it's a big blockbuster. Yeah,
which is good.
A lot
I'm
of
hoping to
good
get a
stuff.
Switch for my birthday. I don't know if anyone's listening. I want a Switch for my birthday. So I used to have one, okay, and I had to sell it hard times. But yeah, I would.
And we weren't
definitely
really
like.
playing it anyway.
We weren't. We played Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it was better on Wii U.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, all around it's better on the Wii U. I don't care what anyone says.
Yep.
But it's just overall better, and the controls and all that were just better in my opinion. But I'm hoping to get a Switch again. 3DS, not so much. I'm just unless it's Game Boy Color, man, and Pokemon, I'm not picking up a Game Boy anytime soon. I just don't do it anymore.
I'm not really a handheld
I've tried.
guy. Yeah.
I've tried, and it never really was my thing, except for Pokemon back in the day. But that's because everyone was doing it, and you get hooked.
See, I had it all the way up to the Game Boy Advanced SP. Was the brick one that flipped open?
Right. Yeah, I have one of those. Yeah, it's the lighted background. I have a few games. I have like Mario Kart and stuff, and
That's where I stopped with the handheld.
I just have them
stuff.
because nostalgic reasons, and just
I
to
still
have
have
them
my
for
3D
later.
or my 3D. I still have my SP laying around somewhere.
Right.
So
Crappy game news, which it's kind of been going on the last few years, the last decade actually. Bungie suck.
yeah,
Why do they suck, Charlie?
Bungie screwed a bunch of people over. Apparently, their Destiny 2 shop, the shopkeep, had a glitch and allowed Xbox One and PC users to purchase a PS4 exclusive. I believe it was called like a wave rifle or something like that. It was called the Wave Splitter. And apparently it's a PS4 exclusive for that game, which nobody else is, allowed to get. It's an exclusive. And there was a glitch, and Xbox and PC users were allowed to purchase it. So people that have purchased it, Bungie has now locked that item for them up until September of this year, whenever it becomes part of the general exotic loot crates. So basically, people that have spent money on this rifle and want to use it in the game, they can't until September. So that's kind of really, really crappy of them to do. It's like, it's your screw up. Why don't you go ahead and just pay for it and let them use it?
Thanks a lot, Bungie. This one's for you.
And even though I'm not a Destiny fan, I'm not a big Destiny player or anything, but still, I feel bad for those guys that were able. They were like, "Oh my God, this rifle is now available to us already. Cool!" And they went ahead and spent the credits or bought the credits from their store or whatever to buy it. And now, yep, you can't use it till the end of this year. Sorry. It's like, really? That's the path you're willing to take?
It's like Bungie is like Star Wars Jedi stuff. You were
Yeah.
supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
They
Okay.
became EA. They became the new EA.
You went down the crapper, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I played Destiny for like the first game for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I loved it. But then it
Mm-hmm.
was like literally you get to the point and it's like, I did this already.
All right.
This is the same battle.
See, I never played.
This is the same place.
Was never into
This
it.
is the same thing happening. Oh man, I hear this big old thing roaring, man. I can't wait to see what that's gonna be like. Oh, I've done this already.
It's the same.
Oh, he's
thing.
got more health though. Oh, whatever. I mean, it's just that was what that game was. It was just you literally rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Not every time you get excited. Oh man, this is open now. I can get there. Oh, this dude's here. He's gonna help. It's gonna be awesome. I
Nope.
did this already. It's already happened. It's literally like the same battle. This guy's got pink shoes on instead of green ones. Oh, this monster thing. Oh,
Wow.
it's got 4 legs instead of 5.
Yeah, like I said, not a great game, but still people that play it and enjoy it, which is
Yeah,
a lot of people.
it sucks for you. It's just
that's dumb.
the whole haha
shouldn't-
applaud to you on Bungie is just because ever since they left Halo, they've just literally, like I said, they've
nothing.
become the thing they swore to not be.
They've done nothing,
And they've
literally,
done nothing.
since
Destiny
they-
was supposed to be this way bigger thing. It could have been a much bigger thing. It tried to be like this PC game, and
PC game for consoles.
yeah,
and
it just, I don't know. Like they tried to be like Mass Effect and Halo and all this kind of stuff mixed into one. And there's decent parts about it, and the story just doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just blah. And like we said, like he said, you said, if you like it, that's your thing. You're into it. I know there's people playing it right now. Destiny 2, rock on. That's your thing. I play a lot of games that people hate.
Yeah.
I play sports games. People are like, why do you play sports games? Just play sports.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's why I play, because I like sports, and I can't go play sports, or
I'm way too out of shape to go
you
play
know what I mean?
sports.
So and I
want
want to see my favorite team
digitally.
and play my sports digitally, and I'm kind of good at them because I'm good at sports, so I like to play them. But yeah, shame on you, Bungie. Shame on you, EA. Both you yellow cards.
Bite the bullet. Eat whatever money you got to eat and make it available for everybody.
Yes, agreed.
If you've already screwed up
100%.
this hard to where people have already purchased the said item, and now you're going to take it away from them or lock it in their so it's setting in their inventory. They have to look at it every time they open their inventory, and it's just going to be blacked out because they can't use it. This is ridiculous.
I don't know what they were thinking, but
ridiculous.
it was pretty stupid. I don't know.
And yeah, I don't know how they're gonna correct this situation at all. Because I was reading the article and I was expecting to come across something where it's like, and they're planning on if people put in a request to have their money back if they paid money for it to get their money back, a refund or whatever. But nope, nothing. It's just you just can't use it till September.
I mean, I understand. Some people are like, "Oh, who cares?" It's not really a big deal. It's not even the fact of what they did and how it happened. It's just their track record, and then now they do something like this. And I understand it's a oops, our bad.
I just bumped the mic. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, more bad. You know what I mean? And
literally, what I just did to the mic was what they just did to everybody.
Oops. I did it again, baby.
Whoops.
It's just get your head out of your rectum. Seriously, EA, Bungie, just seriously. You can say what you want about 343 and Bethesda and all that kind of stuff, but they still give you the stuff. They still make up for it.
Yeah,
like
still,
Fallout. 76. They took a big old dump and they
tried
catered to their fans that are still playing it.
Yeah,
they're backing up.
Yeah,
Skyrim, they had all those issues. They fixed it, and the list goes on. But I mean, the track record recently, Bungie and EA,
not good.
and then when you're like a couple of the biggest too, you think you would have the right people and you would have the right direction. You go about the right way.
Yeah, right.
No.
All these higher ups telling them to cut corners here and there just to save a dime.
We used to do Halo. Our name still shows up at the beginning of Halo. Yeah.
Yeah, but
and you abandon us.
You abandon us, and you don't make the game anymore. So your name.
These guys love Halo. Don't
doesn't
worry.
Mean anything. Your name means
4 was
nothing.
garbage, and 5 was cool, but it wasn't enough. So
I don't mind any of the Halo games. Like I don't think there's a bad Halo game.
The 4, I can't. Okay, 4 is really not
5.
garbage in my mind. Out of all the games that there are, people say that whatchamacallit is the worst game.
Halo Reach.
They say it's not.
Halo
it's
Reach
a great
is
game.
a great game.
And it's backwards compatible now. Awesome, and it's on Master Chief Collection. Thank God. But yeah, I just
like
4. It was
1
too
through
much
5.
of that. Too much of.
I just want to sit down one day and just play 1 through 5.
Oh, it's
just for a week.
It's so much fun too, and on heroic
1
too,
through
because we've
5.
already beat. Even though I want to do it on legendary, because my freaking gamer score, my achievements still haven't kicked in for all that. Even though it clearly shows on there, and we've had update after update, and there was actually a new update like 2 days ago.
Yep.
I haven't logged in to see yet, but I'm not going to get my hopes up that my gamer score has been changed.
Yep. No.
So that is it for games. We got some amazing, awesome sports news and a really crappy piece of sports news. What do you want first, Charlie? You want the good or the bad?
Hit me with the bad news.
The bad news. The Alliance of America Football League is dunzo beans.
Yep, it's over.
They are folded. They
just
have no
one
money.
season.
It's it. The XFL will be coming next year. They talked about doing a merger with the XFL last year. Apparently, Vince McMahon was like, nope. But the beloved, fun, entertaining, cool idea of spring football is over after this season. Pretty disappointing.
Just like arena football and just like the, what was it before that? The other XFL league.
Yeah, the first other XFL league. Yes.
Yeah.
Which this league is not going to be anything like that league was. But
I hope not.
I'm excited because the first one was more entertainment. It really was than it was actual football. But this league is going to be actual football. You got actual NFL coaches. You got actual NFL players that are going to be on there. That kind of stuff. So there'll be some legit talent. And St. Louis has a team. We don't know the name yet, but it's coming.
But yeah, the AAF
is done.
After
That is very sad news. I'm
just
disappointed because it was just not even because it was spring football or anything. It was just another football league. Been kind of tired of seeing the Patriots lose. Tired of the way things have gone.
You mean watch the Patriots win?
You know what I mean. Saying Patriots lose is just natural to me. I want it to happen all the time. But yeah, I was sick of it. I mean, I kind of got into it at the end there and tried to give it a chance, and then this comes out, and it kind of had me excited for NFL this coming season because of it and all the trades have been going on. But now the AFF is done, and it's like, oh, thanks for just throwing this thing out of nowhere to us, and it's good, but it's not as good as you want, and because you're paying rich celebrities and NFL guys to be your anchors, you're paying them millions of dollars for some stupid reason when it's minor league football, even though you call yourselves professionals, and you are going to fold your league because you can't make payroll.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have hired, certain commentators that literally dissed you, by the way. There's video of it online.
Yeah.
But while they thought they were live on the air talking about how horrible the league is and people hate it and nobody's watching anyway and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was nice. I thought it was entertaining. It was cool for those cities, especially places like Alabama and things of that nature that never had football.
For that short bit, but yeah,
it is over.
So.
But on to the awesome, great, outstanding news, Cardinals baseball, which is the first pitch is already out. Game has started. We're about to kick that on. What do you think of the Cardinals so far? What's your feeling on them?
I like them.
I like them too. I feel that they are literally they're doing what the Blues did. New faces, new style, fresh season. They're not together just quite yet.
They're doing what they do every season. Every season it's this way. At the beginning of the season, they go on a losing tear. They just lose, win, lose, win, lose.
Right.
And they do it every season. So it's not got me shook. I'm not worried about it.
Right.
Just,
I think it's the positions. I think Carpenter being at third is still weird.
It's just, it's the beginning of the baseball season, That's just how it is for the Cardinals. It's always rough. But we always pick it up, before the the All-Star break or anything like that.
Right.
We always pick it up before then.
I'm excited for the time of year. I'm excited for baseball. I have a lot of faith in this team. I have a lot of faith in its veterans that they have on it, helping the young guys, kind of similar to the Blues team. And we're going to get into that in a second. And I like the look. I like the players. Paul Goldschmidt has already made a huge impact. Hasn't been so good the last couple of games. I say he breaks out of it tonight. We will see.
He'll be fine. Like I said, he'll work out. He's just, he's in a slump, just like every good hitter gets into. It's I'm just glad he's getting his out of the way early.
I hope Waino doesn't go I hope he's not inconsistent the way he's been.
Yeah.
Had that terrible outing, then throws an amazing game. I hope he doesn't do that, back and forth thing. I hope he stays semi-consistent. I mean, I don't expect him to go like 9-10-1 or 15-1 or nothing like that, but it's not going to happen.
With an ERA of 3.
Right. I just hope his record is over 500, and he's got a ERA like you said around 3 or something like that, something decent. Under 4.
Under 4 preferably.
Yeah.
Under 3 preferably, but I'll take a 3.5.
Do I think this team, as it stands, is going to win the World Series? No.
No.
Because if you don't make some kind of move with the starting pitchers and actually figuring out this whole Tyler O'Neill, Jose Martinez, Dexter Fowler bullcrap in right field, you're not going to get there. Do these guys have the talent and the ability to get better and come together as a whole team? Maybe, but I don't see it. I think you got to go sign a starting pitcher at some time.
I'm not even gonna go that far. It's way too early to talk about World Series stuff. Like,
I just mean as it stands right now. If
like
you
right
had
now,
this roster, the whole thing and the way that it's built, I don't see it.
I don't know. I would say yes. Honestly, I'm gonna retract my previous statement and actually say yes. I think this team definitely has the ability to go to the World Series as it stands. As it stands.
I think
would they win the World Series? That's a different question. Can they make the World Series? Yes.
The pitching,
I believe so.
Pitching's my only concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, obviously, still early. Everybody goes through stuff, but that's the only thing really concerns me about this team. And is Mike Schultz, Mike Matheny 2.0? I hope not.
No, I don't think so.
I hope he's not too.
No.
I hope he's not that weird loyal like Matheny was with people.
No, Mike Schultz is not Matheny 2.0. Right. No way. He has no buddy system with any of these guys. None of that crap's going on in the locker room. He's all business. I mean, look at him. He freaking stands there and he has no emotion whatsoever. No emotion. He just stands there and he's good to go. He's not yelling at nobody. He's not upset with this guy. He's not buddy with this guy and leaving him out there and only because he's buddy with him,
Right.
And he wants him to play. He's taking these guys out, just like with the whole John Gant thing.
Right.
He put his butt in the bullpen, He was like,
you're going to be he's one of the best players in the bullpen.
You're going to be in the bullpen and I don't care how much you kick and scream. I'm not going to make you a starter because you don't have the stuff.
Right.
So, that's my opinion about Mike Schultz. He's a no.
I don't think he does have. I don't think John Gant has the stuff to go through a whole game. To be honest with you, I think he's perfect where he's at.
No, heck no.
I think he's doing great where he's at. That's why he's been doing so good because he's not pitching that many innings. Pitch count is everything lately, which is unfortunate for some people, but it's necessary for others. So, that wraps up the Cardinals baseball. Aspect of it, which we're excited. Go Cardinals. We're going to kick it on here shortly. And we're going to finish this show, this episode 8 of the I Don't Mo Show, with your St. Louis Blues. They are in the playoffs. Game 1 tomorrow in Winnipeg versus the Jets. I don't even know what to say when it comes to this team because they literally went from, and I'm not even saying literally as just a thing. Literally, actually, factually, they went from last to one of the best teams in all of hockey. And they're in the playoffs. They play the Wild in Winnipeg. Was it the matchup I wanted? No. Does it matter?
The Jets?
What?
Play the Jets, you mean?
Yeah. The Jets were not what I wanted.
Oh,
they were not who I wanted to play in the first round. I was ready for Nashville in the first round. And maybe I was a little biased because of the record we had during the regular season. But I just thought for the first round, this doesn't seem like, even some of the guys I listened to today, this doesn't seem like the first round. This seems like it would be like the Western Conference Final. The way these teams are, they're so so similar. They finished with the same amount of points. Winnipeg had the tiebreaker over us. That's why we're playing in Winnipeg to start out. They have home ice to start. But to me, in my opinion, the way it's set up now, because I wasn't expecting it, I didn't want the Stars in the first round, which if Nashville doesn't do their job, we're playing them in the second round. But if we win the first round and beat these guys, I'm saying it goes 6 or 7 games, I say we can go other way. Because if you beat the team that I figured we'd be playing in the next round or something of that nature, in my eyes, if you can get through, this is your toughest test besides the actual final, the actual Stanley Cup final.
Oh, yeah.
And in my bracket, I have them playing against Tampa Bay because there's nothing in my mind that says that Tampa Bay's not going to roll through the East, but we've beat them twice. So I kind of went, what would I like to see compared to all that? I don't want to see any of those other teams in the East, to be honest with you. Can we beat the Penguins? Yes. Can we beat Boston? Yes. But almost everybody else on the entire list, okay, Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. The rest of the East, we're not good.
Right.
So if any of those other teams make it in, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be tough regardless because the Stanley Cup playoffs, hockey playoffs, are the most grueling, grinding, hardest thing, championship trophy to win in all of sports. I don't care what anyone says. It's the most difficult to win because you have to win 16 games after you just played 82. And you're probably going to play more than 16 games. You just have to win 16 games. You win 16 games, you hoist the cup. So to me, in my eyes, if the Blues get through this first round, they can do this. Why do I say 6 or 7 games? I say 6 or 7 games because I think it should go because I don't want to see the Blues sweep them and then we have to sit around and wait for a week to play the next team. That's always the worry in my mind. Am I going to care if we sweep them? No, but I've seen what's happened to us in the past. Like we beat the Wild, we swept them in the first round. Go on to play the Predators, losing 6. Just anything can happen. And I mean, the track record of the Blues, I'm not expecting anything because I didn't even expect them to be in this. I'm just excited that we're in it. We're in the show. We're in the dance. We have a chance. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be crazy. I say we split the first 2 here in Winnipeg, and then I say we come back home and, hopefully we can win a couple and then close it out in Winnipeg or maybe come back for Game 6 and close it out. To me, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I believe. Even in my non-biased opinion, I see the Blues beating the Jets in 6 or 7 games. If I was on the outside and I wasn't, just the way the Jets have been playing the last 2 months, next to the way who the Blues are now compared to when they last saw them, because they haven't seen the Jets since December. In my book, I'm choosing the Blues. Binnington, I know he's a rookie. He's got this. I think he can handle the pressure. I think the whole team can handle the pressure. Does Jake Allen need to be ready in case something happens or we go and he needs a little bit of a break? Yeah, you better. You better get off whatever that low horse that you were on and get on the high horse and ride. Because seriously, we need you as much as I don't want you there. You wear the blue sweater and you have a number on the back and you represent St. Louis. I'm going to root for you. Do I want you there? No. But we are going to need you. So if this team could play 60 minutes, we're all healthy. Unfortunately, the entire NHL, everyone's in the playoffs that's healthy. I found that out today. Usually there's like teams that have like scratch people or hurt people. No. Everybody in the playoffs is healthy. So there's no excuses for anybody. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be grueling. I'm very excited. The first game is tomorrow night. 7 o'clock is when the game happens in Winnipeg. And then the next game, Game 2, will be in Winnipeg on Sunday. And it is during the Game of Thrones. So we will be watching both. We will be watching Game of Thrones on one TV and the Blues on the other. And we've already discussed it. And Game of Thrones will be turned at high volume and the game turned down. Because we don't need to listen. We can just watch. And it'll probably be on NBC. And I don't want to listen to those guys anyway. But tomorrow's game is on NHL Network. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's on Fox Sports tomorrow. They may do it, but I think the Cardinals game is on tomorrow on Fox Sports, and I think the Blues are on the NHL Network. So hopefully you have satellite or cable, and you can watch it on NHL Network. Otherwise, you can get the app, I believe, and check it out. There's free trial on there right now to watch the Blues. Your St. Louis Blues. We are in the playoffs. Let's go Blues. Long live the note.
I've got something that I want to talk about.
Ooh.
Yeah, remember I've got some science on.
Oh yeah, Charlie's got science.
So I have got some science. So apparently, some let's see here, some scientists at the University of Edinburgh,
Edinburgh,
found out that matter can exist in a state between liquid and solid and be both liquid and solid at the same time. When potassium is placed under pressure, like extreme amounts of pressure, it will create a lattice where one side is extremely solid and rigid and the lattice next to it is extremely fluid and movable.
Ooh.
So they have found out that potassium, along with what was it? So a few other elements here and there, including sodium and bismuth, can become this exact state where it's completely stable. It's not just a transition state. It can be stable. It would be like holding a sponge in your hand, but having the sponge drip through your fingers. So it's like the sponge is just kind of almost liquid dripping through your fingers.
Wow.
So it's kind of interesting, and there's many applications that can be used with this kind of state, and we haven't even figured out the extent of all the elements that can exist in this state. And it's just very interesting that something can form a liquid and a solid at the same exact time when put under extreme pressures. And they've just run this through a simulation, basically a bunch of simulations through a computer, and it simulated about 20,000 potassium atoms. And 100% of them reacted the exact same way when put under pressure. So it's kind of interesting, just something
Wow, like a jellyfish type of
something
thing.
Just to think about,
way. It's like a whole thing, but a liquid thing.
Then it'll just, it would be like holding a sponge, and the sponge is literally just dripping through your hands. So it's kind of crazy, kind of interesting. Finding out all kinds of new stuff.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I wonder how you would come across that thing. Probably by accident.
probably by accident. It doesn't
You know
say
what I mean? They're
how
trying
they,
to create something else, and it's like,
Yeah.
what is this?
it doesn't say how they came up with it or anything like that. It just yeah. Basically, they were just messing around with all kinds of elements and putting them under extreme pressures, and happened to stumble across potassium and put it under pressure, and it created this lattice network of atoms, and half of them were solid, half of them were liquid,
Shine bright like a diamond.
and it's completely stable. Like I said, you could hold it in your hand if you wanted to, so
Huh.
it's kind of crazy.
I wonder what you would end up putting use to that as.
I don't know. It just says it has all kinds of applications, but I don't know.
Probably, I would want to say maybe something for like impact in vehicles, or
Some
in
kind of
race
gel.
cars and protective helmets.
Some kind of gel substitute or something like that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'd work out
it's
really
solid,
well.
but liquid. So
Solid,
could
but
fit,
it has some give,
right.
you know.
Obviously,
But-
more testings are going to go on, and they'll
Yeah.
kind of see how it reacts to other elements, of course.
Different
that's really cool.
elements, but yeah, it's kind
So
of
what
interesting.
is that like the first new piece discovered since what the
it's
Higgs
just-
boson or whatever?
No, it's just a new state of matter that's just been discovered. You know, you had your basic solid, liquid, gas, and sublimation, which
Right.
is a solid going straight into a gas. Well, now you have a solid going, becoming a liquid but staying a solid. So there's like 5 different states of matter now.
Science.
And I'm sure
bro.
there's way more than that, but
Right.
in my feeble mind, there's 5 states of matter.
Right.
So yeah, kind of interesting.
Heck yeah, news of the world, and it's actually positive. It's cool science.
Oh, and another piece of news, it's kind of political, but I don't know if anybody follows this, but the elections are going on over in Israel right now. They started 2 days ago, and they are still too close to call. So for 2 days, Benjamin Netanyahu has been just sitting there, still in power, even though he's facing massive corruption charges and all kinds of stuff. And the elections are going on, but it's still too close to call.
Wow.
So who do you think's going to win this one?
I
How
don't
rigged do you think
know.
you think our elections are rigged? How rigged do you think that one is?
The guy in the hat.
The guy that's already in there, probably.
Yeah, that's the one.
So that's a little piece of world news,
That's the political news we like to share, just because like
You can make your own opinion
seriously?
about it. You can make your own opinion. I'm not going to put no opinions in ya.
No opinions in ya.
So,
Wrecking pinion steering.
but yeah, those are the science and world news on the corner.
Science and world news. The weather. Hey, it's been good around here. That's another thing, a local we got
Weather's
going on
been
here.
good.
And
70s, 80s, around there.
hoping to do some floating, some camping, some getting out in there soon. I can't wait to do all that stuff. It's just
Do
it's
some
been kind
fishing.
of hard to plan ahead because the way it's been kind of obviously it's Missouri, it's shifty, it's doing one thing and then it's
Right.
another, and it's really nice. And I don't know. I do expect it to be a hot summer though. It's seeming like it's gonna be that way, but I'm not.
It's going to be hotter, and I feel like it's going to be hotter for longer, which is not a bad thing in my opinion.
I just hope it gets it out of the way and it's not 95 degrees in September again, late September. I mean, September's been the new August over the last few years, especially when I go hunting and things like that. It's just been brutal. And the humidity does not help anything. That's the other part of it. So, but it's
hot.
Missouri. Like we said, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. But if that's
yeah.
all we got, man,
all I got.
Solid show. We had a lot of good things on today's show. If you guys are, obviously, you're listening and you're a fan of the show and you have a Facebook account, like and subscribe on here on YouTube. Give us a like and join us on Facebook to get updates and events going around Missouri and things of that nature. We still do have the banner contest going on for the $10 Jimmy John's gift card, and
Ends May 1st.
ends May 1st. That is the deadline. So we got a few in now besides just one.
Yeah.
So we're going to be judging and going over that soon, and we're going to do the scavenger hunt very soon. Yes, we have. I know we say it all the time. Video will be coming. The only problem Larry we've had with video is the editing process goes into a whole new level.
Yeah.
So we're not going to just do it and be like, hey, here's us and on video and we're going to talk to you and it's just going to be the same old regular show. We're going to make sure it's like we said before, it be quality before we do that. So quality over quantity in this situation. So we hope you enjoyed episode 8. Thanks for liking and subscribing and watching all our other fabulous episodes that we have here on YouTube. We're going to upload the rest of our episodes here shortly to SoundCloud. I know only a few of you have said only the first couple episodes are on there. So we're going to be doing some updating there. A lot of good things coming to you soon. We got, spring and summer coming up. We're going to do a lot of things. We got a lot of movie reviews. We're going to be hitting theaters. We're going to be out in the public. We're going to be doing some really cool things. A lot of good stuff in the works.
Yep.
And that being said, I'm Nathan J.
I'm Charlie P.
This has been the I Don't Mo Show, episode 8. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time.
We'll see ya.
Peace.